What is going on, everyone? Welcome into Big Time Football Talk. So I want to break down the some of the big notable college games this weekend. There are some good ones, starting with Auburn versus Georgia. Auburn comes into the game 1-0, looking to try to head to that 2-0 start. Defeated Kentucky week one in a game that was pretty close for a while. Bo Nix had a big game, 16-27, 233 yards, 3 touchdowns, but Seth Williams, their star receiver, came through for him, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. The bottom line, I would love to see some JT Daniels this week for Georgia. Stetson Bennett stepped in and started for him. But, Georgia, I like watching Georgia because I like watching George Pickens. I think that dude is a real deal at receiver. Former 5-star prospect out of high school. And I think it was 40 yards and a touchdown last week, but Pickens is the real deal. Georgia has kind of had their number in recent years. They've won the last 2 games of the series, but this is a good classic SEC game. It's always a tough physical battle, and I think what's key for Auburn is Bo Nix making some plays. He really is a playmaker and is a talented kid. And I think Georgia needs to run the ball and limit the turnovers. Auburn is a team that has seemed to really cash in off of mistakes teams make, and so if Georgia runs the ball and plays turnover-free football, I think that's key for the Bulldogs getting the win. But so excited for this game. This is a 7:30 game on ESPN. Number 7 versus number 4. Georgia's defense is, I forgot to touch on that. Their defense is loaded. They're star-studded on that side of the ball. You got Stokes at corner, Tyson Campbell, Richard LeCounte at safety, and Georgia's recruited as good as anyone the last few years. It's going to be a challenge for Auburn against that, Georgia defense. Williams needs to step up big. When I've seen him go against some of the better corners in the SEC, he tends to struggle. So, Williams having a big game is, going to be crucial if, Auburn wants a chance in this football game. But also Texas A&M versus Alabama, going back to my first memory of this game, 2012. Not my first memory, but one of the, a game that sticks out to me between these two was 2012 when, Johnny Manziel had the magic plays and they started the game 21-0. No Manziel for A&M, but Kellen Mott's a pretty good quarterback, respectively, in his own right. And, Bama has dominated this series really since that 2012 game. I think that was the last victory for, A&M. But, A&M has been able to put up points against Alabama the last few years. It hasn't been, their offense hasn't really been what's caused them. It's been, their defense hasn't really been able to stop the Tide's offense. So A&M really, it's crucial for them to limit turnovers in this game, and they got to try to stop, Najee Harris. And I would say this, if you're A&M, you got to really make Mac Jones throw the football against you. I think that's your big key. And, this is, it's always a fun game to watch. There's going to be some points scored, and A&M is a lot better coached under Jimbo Fisher, and you think A&M though, if they could get Bama one of these years, that could just go a long way. As their program is, Fisher tries to build up this program, bringing in some good recruiting classes too. But so a lot of excitement for the 3:30, SEC game on CBS versus, Alabama and A&M. So should be a fun one there. Texas versus TCU. TCU, another one that's, had Texas's number. 2 of the last 3 wins coming in TCU's favor, And, like I touched on when I did my Texas preview, it's right now or never for Tom Herman in year 4. A win here could really go a long way because, last week was a big thrilling win over Texas Tech, but you wonder if that was kind of just like a game where they just skated by and did enough. You really want to see this week against, a TCU team that's always hungry to beat old Texas if, they can do it again. And, I don't want to see Texas just, skate by. I want to see this team, come out and play well. Ellinger has to have a good game. Obviously, their offense kind of goes how he goes. And, would love to see Texas win this and, get some momentum. People would love to see, like Miami, people would love to see Texas back. Everyone, every year it's, plug Texas in the top 25. They went 10-4 a couple years ago, but, it's time to see if, Texas can get rolling, and it's a great opportunity for, Herman and the Longhorns to make an early statement against a TCU team that, coming off a loss to Iowa State, but, very competitive under Gary Patterson's tenure there. And Iowa State versus Oklahoma, what's going to be big is to see how Spencer Rattler bounces back. A tough week for him last week. Started off hot, and then had some turnovers and had some looked like a true sophomore out there with little experience. He needs to clean up those mistakes. But Brock Purdy versus Spencer Rattler, this is a key quarterback matchup. Purdy is a guy that's has some drawn some NFL attention. He's a very talented quarterback in his own right, and this should be an exciting game. Iowa State coming off a win against TCU, like I just mentioned, and obviously Iowa State brings their best against Oklahoma. They've upset them in recent years too, so this is big because an 0-2 start will kind of have people really questioning Lincoln Riley because it's the first year. He hasn't had an experienced quarterback, and you kind of get to see this is, it's starting to be more and more of his recruits. You kind of see a lot of coaches that, carry on the success of guys that have had success before them, like a year or two after they leave. But, a few, after you get into their recruits, sometimes that really says a lot more about this coach because this is, their recruits, and this is their program. This is like the environment they've instilled into the players, because like Ryan Day at Ohio State now, like he's obviously, a lot of the players were back that played under Urban Meyer, so they understood what it took to win, and understood what the identity of their program was and what they wanted to be. But as years continue, that coach needs to instill his personality and his identity into what the program's going to be run like, and needs to develop his own recruits and needs to put those recruits in the best positions to be successful. So this game will say a lot as the Lincoln Riley tenure rolls on, and obviously you don't want to start 0-2 because young recruits, this is a young team, and you don't want the young team to any damage to their psyche as far as that goes. So but those are some of the games I wanted to touch on college football for this weekend. Should be exciting. I really enjoyed last weekend, to be honest, and looking forward to another great week. Florida versus South Carolina is another game at noon. If you want to watch that Gators offense, it's super fun to watch. Kyle Trask is a guy that many thought that he could have the Joe Burrow type of season. And, that's kind of what the, Burmers are is Trask, that guy is going to have that type of, Joe Burrow magic this year. But, it's obviously going to be hard to match that. But, this is a, Florida offense is exciting, and it's got to be refreshing if you're a Florida fan to see this offense, rolling again, because you haven't really, seen that, very often since Tebow left back in the day. But, Dan Mullen's a great coach. And, South Carolina, Will Muschamp is, and also a pretty good coach. Hasn't turned South Carolina into an elite program, but a very, very competitive program, similar to what they were under Spurrier a few years back. But, yeah, exciting stuff. And thanks for tuning in to this episode of Big Time Football Talk. Make sure to stay tuned for more episodes from the show. And until next time, peace.